All right, so wanted to just talk about some of the software that I've used and experimented with, and just what I think is worth doing and what I think isn't worth doing. This is just going to be in this simple vlog format. I'm not going to, open up my computer and do a ton of that running through it. There are lots of videos out there. I may even link some just as better in-depth examples of what those softwares look like. If you want to see more about them, because there's creators that do make those. Right now, I'm just kind of doing vlog related stuff and also being kind of lazy about this, frankly. But there are a few softwares out there that I think are really good for doing this type of thing, and then a few softwares out there that I don't think are very good. When I was getting started, tried to do the shortcut stuff. I thought doing the like really easy make, put in a prompt and get a video out type thing, like in video or Pictory AI or in video or Faceless.video. Those are all websites that allow you to basically put in a prompt and they will make you a video. Faceless.video actually automates the whole process for you. It's a really interesting concept because it literally allows you to just sign up for a TikTok, I sign up for an account, plug in like a generic prompt, and automates the entire process for you. So you just say, I want to make a TikTok channel about the universe, and it will just every single day. It does all the ideation for you, it does the video creation for you, and then it posts for you. It's not good. I mean, it's fine. Like, it's certainly made by AI. Like, when you see the videos that it produces, like, it's very much eh. I'm not dogging on it. I love, props to you guys for making something cool. I bet in like a year it's gonna be insane because that's how all these things are, is like when they first come out, they're just, dog water, and then they become, basically replacing people or whatever. Not literally, but they're doing a lot of things and making editing much easier. Currently, it's meh. I wouldn't necessarily swear by it. I tested it out for a couple of days because it gives you a free 2-day trial, and you know, it's very obvious that it's not of the highest quality. So if you want to use it, you can. I think it's fine. I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with it. Um, I just don't think you're going to get the results you're looking for. Like, I don't think you can just have that be your primary content generator and you're going to like become a faceless YouTube millionaire. That's just not where it's going to happen. Like, they may advertise it that way because they're incentivized to get you to sign up for their product, but it's just not that sophisticated yet. The quality of its output is also very mediocre. Um, it might do better in like a commentary or a clipping niche. I don't know. I experimented it with like animal facts or something. It was okay. It can generate some okay looking visuals, but it's nothing remarkable again. So, if you want to try it and you're just looking for something to like maybe supplement posts on an existing channel and you just like really want something to just add something to it, I think it could be fine, but just know what you're getting. It also is very affordable. So, like, you can, I think I actually should really have this pulled up, but I want to say it's like $30 or something, or, 20, somewhere between 20 and $40 a month. So, relatively affordable if that's something you want to do. Pictory AI is another one that's out there that I think that I got a chance to play with for a little while. I really liked the concept of Pictory AI. I liked the interface of Pictory AI. I think what it can do, what it's capable of. There's like three main ones out there, or four main ones that are kind of similar. There's like Pictory, InVideo, Flicky, and Asa, maybe. Um, which I'm probably just throwing out colloquialisms that maybe not very many of you know, but some of you might. Anyway, I've only tried a couple of them, but Pictory it's kind of designed to make making faceless YouTube content, or faceless, YouTube shorts, or whatever type of content, really accessible in case you just did need to come up with like, hey, I need to make an educational video really quickly about why cups work. I would say that this is probably really great for like teachers and people who just need to churn certain types of content out with stock footage. It actually did a pretty decent job. Honestly, I actually liked it for what it was. It wasn't for me. I am not its target audience. I don't necessarily need it. But if I were making like a travel channel or something that could really benefit from stock images, something that was focused around like locations or maybe history, or I'm just thinking of something that just uses the public domain a lot, but something like that, maybe even start the solar system, you could probably use it Pictory just because it does use mostly stock footage, and it has a pretty robust stock license. Uh, Most of the ones that I've experimented with do have a pretty robust stock license, so I think you can't really go wrong. Pictory's interface also was easy to customize. I liked the way that you could navigate uh, and you can navigate its interface. You can move things around. Um, didn't have the smartest like generative AI. Like if you were putting in like a prompt, sometimes it would carry over like certain quotation marks or certain parts of the prompt that you were like that were more like directorial or editorial or scene, trying to make the scene. So it wasn't like that good in that regard. But if you're willing to spend a little bit of time editing it, I think it's advertised for you to spend like very little time editing, but I would actually kind of disagree. I'd say it's the one that required the most time editing. However, if you were able to do that because of its affordability, again, I think it's only like 20 bucks a month or like even less, maybe it's like $13 if you buy the yearly, totally worth it depending on the niche you're in. If it's you're trying to use, I didn't use any generative features. I don't, in fact, I don't even think it has generative features. I don't have it pulled up right here. Next time I do something like this, I will have like a computer in front of me. But anyway, I liked it and I would recommend it. I would probably give it like a 7 out of 10, I guess, but it's niche specific. In video is the one that I probably spent the most time with because I bought a month subscription to it, which was 65 bucks. It's one of the more expensive ones. It has a generative subscription service, so it can like make you a video off of a prompt. You can literally say like, I want a 5 minute video on the history of Starbucks, and it will make you a 5 minute video on the history of Starbucks. You can do a mix of things. You can make one just on using stock media, which it will find sometimes, depending on your niche, it will use repetitive stock media, which makes videos look very samey. I did experiment with trying different versions of prompts to see if it would make things varied enough to be viable. And often, even in short form content, it made things look kind of samey. So just be aware if its stock library isn't varied enough for your niche, you will run across some of the same content over and over. Um, but if its stock library is robust for that niche, for example, just really broad things, I would imagine animals probably is a good one. Um, maybe video games. I don't actually know. I didn't test it, but anything generative, like if you were, I don't know, circling back to the history of Starbucks, it would probably, if you went with the generative one, it would probably be pretty funny, and it would probably be pretty entertaining because it's AI. When you typed in a prompt, did a really good job of like shrinking down the prompt, taking the direction from the prompt, and creating a scene. I don't think its model is quite as dynamic as like Sora, or not Sora, but like, VO3 or one of the ones that's really, yeah, Sora, yeah, or Seed Dance, whatever the ones that are really sophisticated are. I don't think it's quite there, but it did just release its 4.0 model, which is only available from the computer, which I was doing most of this on the app. And its 4.0 model is way more sophisticated, and that's the one that allows you to do the generative stuff. So I bet it is able to do a lot more. I didn't go too in depth with that. I did a lot more stock, stuff, but anything pet related, it was all over. And it was funny. Its default mode was more humorous than any other of the modes. Like Pictory was very serious, which is why I think it was great for educational content. Um, and then the next one I'll talk about was really serious, or was really had a pretty relatively serious tone. And then Faceless also had a mixed sort of tone. You could have it tailored decently well to whatever audience you wanted to, but in video, to its credit, was like default comical. Like whatever your prompt was, if you kept it vague, it would default to like educational and humorous, which I thought was a very interesting thing. Like almost everything I fed into it ended up coming out funny unless it was instructed not to. So that was cool. I liked in video. They have a whole page, YouTube channel about how you can basically make a YouTube channel off of just using in-video software and have it be profitable. I don't know how true that is. Someday I might try that if like this becomes a thing and I just like have the money. And but it's subscription service is pretty expensive. It was the most expensive of all of these that I have tried. Everything else was like a third of the price or less. So it was three times as expensive, I think, as everything because it had the generative thing. However, I didn't really use the generative thing and it wasn't like super beneficial for me. But the way you burn through credits doing certain tasks, like I don't fully understand how its system worked. A lot of the other platforms had a very clear usage of how their credits work. If you go over to like Yuri's page, he talks a lot about this. He does really good in-depth comparisons. He probably can break down how the credits break down with this one a lot better than I did. But I was burning through credits pretty quickly, and so I feel like if you're going to be generating content purely off of InVideo, you need to have the second most expensive plan, not the Teams. Teams is like $1,000 a month, insane. But there's a $130 a month plan, which would allow you to truly run an entire YouTube channel off of InVideo confidently. And I think you could. I think if you picked the right niche, if you found a niche that worked well with InVideo's um, stock library, as well as maybe some generative content, I think you could absolutely do it. I have no idea if you could monetize off of it. That is just not something I am aware of. I have not tried, but I might because it sounds kind of fun. Anyway, moving on to the last one that I tried was called Hypernatural AI. This one's pretty cool because it is. I didn't really cover this in the other ones, but Pictory was a pretty quick turnaround time. Faceless video was automatically scheduled. You didn't do anything, so I have no idea how long it took to generate. And in videos, generations were fairly slow, and it kind of depended on queue. I would say on average, everything took maybe between 3 and 5 minutes to generate. Hypernatural's generations are like 2 minutes or less. They're so fast, and I have no idea why. All of it's generated. You put in a prompt. If you put in like a script or a prompt or something, it will flesh out the idea relatively quickly, and then it generates all the images for you. Which is really cool. It also allows you to like build characters if you want, or build scenes. You can import art styles. You can really customize it, but it is limited to being its own generative AI system. So it's like only within its own capabilities. There's no like you can. I believe there's some stock media that you can use, and you can import your own images, which is really nice. But for the most part, it's generating its own thing and trying to do that. I do believe its stock library is also pretty decent. I didn't mess with that much when I was doing it. I was mostly just generating stuff because it was so cool to play with. Like you can just there's 15 different art styles or something like that. One of which is comic book, and you can just like make your own comic book world, which I did, and it was awesome. So you can have if you've ever wanted to have your own comic strip and develop your own characters through that, or work with ChatGPT to develop your own characters, this is your opportunity. I have no idea if that type of thing would be like desirable on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube Shorts, but it would be a great platform for that. It was also super intuitive, very easy to use. Like I would totally hand this to my dad who hunt and pecks with his keyboard to type, and I'm sure could figure it out because it's that intuitive. It also had a decent tutorial slash introduction when you first get on it, and so it made it really easy to kind of jump into. So yeah, those are the ones that I mostly used, and the ones that I at least want to talk about that are in that sort of like one-stop shop editing software category. I've used a ton of other different softwares that I'm going to go over again in this vlog format. I'm not necessarily going to pull them up on a computer, mostly because I like this vlog format and I'm enjoying doing this. So if you like this type of content, please like, follow, subscribe. I'll continue to do this even if no one watches because I'm enjoying documenting my journey throughout this, and I would look forward to continuing to share this with people, and hopefully someone finds some value in this. And yeah, I look forward to making more videos.